Heading over to Cincinnati, Ohio, got a story about a young woman, 24-year-old Tavia Chapman. The young mother was with the father of her youngest child on August 31st, 2022. She was driving the vehicle, pulled up to the Kroger grocery store in Spring Grove Village. Her boyfriend and the father of her 8-month-old daughter, who was in the car with them, Jawan Lunsford, he left his phone in the car, so Tavia picked up his phone and started scrolling through it. It was something in Jawan's phone that reportedly set off a quick chain of events that has impacted the lives of many people that day at Kroger. I'm going to reveal what happened here, but first, take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Click the notification bell for all updates. Cincinnati, Ohio. Drop Cincinnati below in the comments if you're watching from Cincinnati, Spring Grove Village, the Avondale area, or Evanston. I appreciate all of you. I definitely want to hear from you, so let me know if you're watching from the area. Tavia sat outside of the Spring Grove Village Kroger as her boyfriend Jawan went inside to pick up groceries for their family. As Jawan was walking out of the store, there was another man, 58-year-old Christopher Scott Griffith. He was walking inside of the store, the 58-year-old man supporting himself with his walking cane. Tavia saw Jawan coming out of the store. She put her foot on the gas and started speeding towards Jawan, who was exiting the store with grocery bags in hand. He attempted to jump out of the way, but he wasn't quick enough. Tavia plowed into him. Her minivan first hit the curb and then ran over 58-year-old Christopher Griffith. From the impact of her hitting that curb, the vehicle became disabled. Tavia quickly hopped out of the van and ran over to Jawan. She started throwing punches at him while he was on the ground. Remember, the whole time their 8-month-old baby was in the back of the van. After slamming into Jawan at an extremely high rate of speed, striking him and Christopher Griffith, Tavia then tried to get out of her dark blue minivan and run away. She was quickly apprehended by what witnesses are calling a good Samaritan and was arrested by police when they arrived on the scene. Many of the people at the grocery store started surrounding Jawan and Christopher. They did their best to assist the men until the paramedics showed up. They saw that Jawan's leg was broken and both men were transported to the hospital. Jawan was treated and eventually he was able to leave the hospital after an unspecified number of days. But Christopher, who had no connection to this couple, just a man walking into the grocery store that day, he never made it out of the hospital alive. Unfortunately, Christopher, he passed away from his injuries. This bizarre situation, quickly reported across the Cincinnati, Ohio metro, had many wondering, why would this young mother do this? Tavia attempted to delete her baby daddy in front of the Kroger in broad daylight, but ended up taking another man's life instead. According to a witness, before returning to her car, Tavia was actually inside of the grocery store yelling at Jawan. A witness told police that minutes before the crash, she saw Tavia arguing with Jawan inside the store. The woman really couldn't make out the words of the argument. She just heard a lot of yelling. She said that it was mainly the female she was hearing, and she said, quote, "The guy was trying to walk away." Tavia provided a reason to authorities. She said she went through Jawan's phone while he was inside the grocery store and allegedly saw inappropriate text messages between Jawan and her sister. She accused him of cheating on her and said that's the reason for her actions.
Yeah, Tanya, Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieter says it was jealousy and rage that led 24-year-old Tavia Chapman to put her foot on the gas. Now she's facing life in prison.
I'm a little frustrated.
Thursday, Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters laid out what he believes led to the death of an innocent man last month in the Spring Grove Village Kroger parking lot.
She took this 3-ton vehicle and plowed into him and plowed into Christopher Griffith, an innocent man on a cane walking across a crosswalk.
Dieters released the surveillance video of the crash. He says 24-year-old Tavia Chapman was angry after she found out her boyfriend wasn't being faithful.
While he was in Kroger's, she apparently went through his cell phone and believed that he had been in an inappropriate relationship with her sister.
His punishment, getting plowed down by her minivan.
One of the more disgusting parts of this thing is that after she plows into these two people, her car was disabled. She exited the vehicle, leaving her 8-month-old baby in the car, and proceeds to go to her boyfriend and start beating him after he's been run over by this car.
Griffith later died in the hospital from his injuries. His brother Greg told us he wants Chapman to pay.
I'm just devastated by this, and I want her to be punished for this.
Chapman faces life in prison. Among her charges are child endangerment, murder, and attempted murder. Prosecutor Dieters commenting, what this woman did is sickening.
I just don't understand why this had to happen at all.
It's being reported that 24-year-old Tavia, she has multiple children, supposedly 3, and she also has past troubles with the law, including being physically abusive to her ex-boyfriend, her children, and endangering minors. In 2020, WKRC reported that she was arrested for allegedly using a hammer to break her ex-boyfriend's windows. She was not held accountable for that. The charge was later dropped. Then over a year later, in late 2021, Tavia was arrested again for allegedly beating a 7-year-old girl and punching her in the face. Reports indicate that the girl is supposedly Tavia's daughter. Then in April of 2022, a warrant was issued for her arrest after she refused to give her 4-year-old daughter to the child's father after a custody visit. Her 4-year-old daughter's father, he allowed Tavia to take their daughter from his home to visit her aunt and uncle on April 1st, but she refused to return the child. She was arrested then, and now several months later, she's been charged with endangering the life of an 8-month-old, in addition to murder, attempted murder, and a few other charges. Christopher, the 58-year-old man who lost his life in this whole ordeal, was an audio engineer who toured with artists like Aerosmith, Harry Connick Jr., and Prince. In 2013, he was getting ready to go back on tour when he was paralyzed from the neck down following a motorcycle crash. Christopher eventually made a recovery, and he was able to walk with a cane, only to be taken out in this incident.
Yeah, Kyle, it is a story full of heartbreak and irony all the way around. The man killed was not even the alleged target, and he ran a nonprofit aimed at driver safety.
A completely innocent victim that was struck by the defendant while that victim was exiting Kroger's died from his injuries. That gentleman is depicted right here on his motorcycle.
The assistant prosecutor at the bond hearing for 24-year-old Tavia Chapman. The picture the prosecutor was holding is this man, Scotty Griffith.
My heart is just shattered, completely shattered.
Molly B. True dated Scotty for 5 years, and even though they broke up in 2019, they remained close. She had texted him Wednesday.
I saw that he hadn't read the text, so I had like a sick feeling in my stomach all day, and when I saw his friend Bill calling me, I knew that something was wrong.
This is cell phone video from the scene. Police say Ms. Chapman was arguing with another man at the Kroger in Spring Grove Village when she got in her minivan and tried to run him down. Police say she hit him, breaking his leg, but then also hit Scotty Griffith, who was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
She thought she hit the brake, perhaps she hit the gas, and there was no intent to harm anyone, let alone kill somebody.
Chapman's defense attorney argued for a low bond. The prosecutor argued for a high one, citing 2 other cases, an arrest in 2020 for allegedly using a hammer to break her ex-boyfriend's windows, and an arrest last year for allegedly beating her 7-year-old daughter with a belt and punching her in the face.
I'm here on his behalf since he can't be.
Molly spoke at the hearing this morning. She wants to make sure there is justice for her friend, known well throughout the local music and motorcycle communities, who survived a motorcycle crash and fought back from paralysis, only to start a nonprofit to help others avoid getting hit by cars.
This is really crazy. Christopher was hit by a car while on a motorcycle, paralyzed from the neck down, recovered from that, started a nonprofit to bring awareness to drivers to look twice to avoid hitting people or avoid getting hit, and then he was hit a second time, and that was the time that took his life. Tavia's baby daddy of her 8-month-old child is now out of the hospital. The child, though, was taken by Hamilton County, not sure when or if they will release the child to him, but the 4-year-old is still with her father, who has full custody of her, and it's unclear where the oldest child is right now. It appears Tavia is a very troubled woman. She has a history of being very abusive, not only to men, but also kids. She's still behind bars, and many of Tavia's supporters, they believe the 24-year-old was justified, saying that because her baby daddy was having inappropriate text conversations with her sister, they argue that she had the right to do what she did. Regarding those text conversations that Tavia mentioned, it's unclear what was said. This is all Tavia's account of the story. So far, Jawan's statements, they have not been made public. Now, if her boyfriend was cheating on her with her sister, even if it was just conversation, that is definitely out of order, but that still doesn't remove accountability for her actions. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started below. If Tavia's story is true, is she justified? Feel free to sound off below. Also, check out the video footage for yourself. I will leave the link below in the description. Don't forget that you can support this channel as well. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like and share.